I'm visiting you today as Sarah Pease. She was one of the gals and an ancestor of mine who was accused of being a witch during the Salem witch trials. Um, I don't know how much research you've done on that, but I did some research on it and I thought it was quite interesting. But let's go back a little bit first. Do you know where the word witches came from? It was from like the late 800s, and this guy named them Wicca, and it was like for women, and there was a special name for men too. But the idea was that these people were not like everybody else. They would like make different rules. They would have different routines. They would have different beliefs. And it just kind of spread. So there is a Wiccan belief, I know that. But there's also the use of the word witches to describe people who don't fit in, the scapegoats of the community. So anyway, when I was researching the Salem witch trials, I learned that it was kind of a community that had two rival families, and one was always trying to up the other and kind of a thing. Well, this thing started where people started having some dreams and some convulsions and some things like that, and they were thinking, oh no, this is witches, this must be of the devil. The reality was they were eating a lot of rye bread. There's a fungus that causes hallucinations. There was a lot of trauma. There were some people coming into town who had been through some significant trauma. Sometimes trauma can cause some hallucinatory kinds of things. Sometimes there's a little bit of delusional thinking. Sometimes there's a lot of things that happen with trauma that we don't understand in our brains. But then there's also this thing called spectral evidence. Do you know what spectral evidence is? Spectral evidence is when I have a dream about you, and in the dream you appear to me and tell me that you're a witch. Therefore, you are a witch. Now, at the time, for a long time, they were allowing spectral evidence. So I could say I had a dream about my rival family all I wanted to, and that was admitted into court. That was admitted into court. And thus, these very wealthy women were being accused of being witches by some women who were of less means. Now, typically it went the other way around. A lot of times the women who were poor, who struggled economically, who had to work and sell things and sell their wares and come up with creative ways of doing so and finding ways of finding some relief in life using some plants and some herbs, they were called witches. And in puritanical America, that was worthy of death. If you did not believe like everybody else did, then you were worthy of death. You were worthy of being in criminal trial. You were worthy of all sorts of things. Spectral evidence, because people said they had a dream about you, then that must mean that you were faulty. There was also this thing that said that if somebody was having a convulsion and somebody else touched them, that was proof that they were a witch if that person's convulsion stopped. Who comes up with this stuff? They came up with a criteria to determine who was witches. Now, witches are scapegoats. I want you to think about that. Spectral evidence. If I have an opinion, if I have a thought about you, it must make it true. Not true. So I want you to think about, who are the people in your life that you have demonized? Who are the people that have demonized you? Because of spectral evidence, because they think this about you, therefore it must be true. False. False. So in this very divisive time in our world, consider who it is that you have spectral evidence against and cease and desist. Look at them as a human being because they are. And we need to consider who are the scapegoats that you are considering the demons in the culture, the demonizing of people. Transgender people, immigrants, people of different belief systems, sometimes just women, the poor, the homeless. We don't need to be marginalizing people. So, in this Halloween season, who are the witches? If you're one of them, be you. If you are demonizing others, reconsider. We're humans. And if you are just watching this whole thing in your arms, you're kind of going like, I don't know what to do. Just love. Just love. And I'll see you soon.